guys, just before the video starts here, I wanted to explain a bit about what's went on here with this recording. The audio for both the team builder and the live commentary on the battle was extremely scuffed. I don't know what happened, it messed up. I managed to save the team builder somewhat, so if there's any jumping around in the footage or the audio isn't pristine, that would be why. I did what I could to save it and spend about 3 hours cutting around on the audio, but I'll just jump over into the past me and we'll do a team builder. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today we have our week 1 matchup coming from the British Pokemon League as we try to make our name for ourselves in our debut matchup here. After some concerns about the team and some mixed opinions coming from the preseason ranking video here that they uploaded, I feel like week 1 is going to be our opportunity here to hush them a bit, you know, prove our worth here and show them why letting the American into the British League wasn't a bad mistake. But we'll be playing Ted this week with the Skystrikers, and you see on the screen here I just have the matchup in my preparation doc here. We'll go over this a bit and then we'll show the showdown and show the spreads and what we ended up bringing. But you see on paper here, he has 2 really big threats on both sides of the spectrum. You have the Trick Room mode with Melmetal, and then you have this fast mode with Mega Blaziken. He has ways to facilitate both of these, with Oranguru being a very solid Trick Room setter, and then Murkrow obviously being Prankster Tailwind. So, looking at the matchup, it was really hard depending on what he brought, which way I wanted to go in preparation. And in all honesty, I had to cover both options of Murkrow Tailwind and Oranguru Trick Room because they were both really strong modes when he has support for them, with some decent mons overall that, well, you know, the mid tiers. Like Circuitry doesn't have the greatest reputation, but if you don't prepare for it, it can sweep. And then obviously he has MadebyKlizzy, a new mon from Legends of Arceus, so you know, week 1 we'll get to see how those perform. And then Perugly, which I've used in a Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl Draft League, is really good support if you know what you're doing with it. And then obviously Murkrow and Oranguru that I pointed out earlier can facilitate really big modes on the team, and Murkrow in particular has a lot of things it can do with things like Feather Dance and Thunder Wave, and can just be really annoying Pokemon to handle. And then obviously he has the Togepi here for redirection, so we have to watch out for that. We'll scroll on down here and just look at the speed tiers. Really, we have Zeraora that is faster than his whole team, but then when you look at the Trick Room Spectre, we have nothing slower. So if he wants to go Trick Room, he will be moving first, and even Blaziken at +1 starts to get kind of bad for our team since we don't have a immediate Tailwind mon like he does. But then we go down to the type chart and you'll see the thing that I noticed immediately is his ground weakness, with 4 weaknesses and the only immune / resist being Murkrow. When I seen that, I knew right away that this is probably going to be a Mega Garchomp game, because between Earthquake and Stone Edge or Rock Slide, depending on which one we wanted to go with, it hits everything on the team, because he has no resist for the Earthquake besides the Murkrow, which gets dropped by a Stone Edge or a Rock Slide. But besides that, we went in knowing we was going Mega Garchomp, and it was just a matter of getting the support pieces to be able to handle both a Trick Room option and a Tailwind option. So we'll slide on over to the showdown and see our spreads and talk about them a bit before we go into the battle. So starting off here, you see the 6 mons at the top with Jellicent, Tyranitar, Mega Garchomp, Scizor, Zeraora, and Alcremie. Just starting off here with Jellicent, having Trick Room in Prison is going to be our best way to deny his Trick Room, as I determined that was probably going to be his most threatening mode for the team, because Melmetal is a tad bit of a threat according to my sources. And it's a really good mon, I've used it in the past. Kirky has you know Kirky. If you know anything about him, he's a fanatic for the thing, and if I lose to it, I'll never really end up from him. But we went with a Clonberry on it to be able to take a Thunder Punch from it, or a Thunderbolt, or a Thunder Punch from, you know, stray moves, particularly from Blaziken and Melmetal. And then we just went max HP, max defense. This is going to be our main Melmetal check, because alongside being able to deny Trick Room with the Imprison. But being able to Scald Burn it or Will-O-Wisp Burn it will be huge into the matchup, because if it's burnt, it's not going to be OHKOing things. Sliding on over next, we'll just go into Mega Garchomp, as this is going to be the crucial mon for the week. It's going to be Earthquake, Rock Slide, Scale Shot, Protect. It has just enough speed to outrun a Adamant Blaziken. This is just in case he wants to go a little bit greedy. This way, if we Scale Shot on a Protect turn, we'll be matching it in speed, was the idea here. Just to be able to keep up with it in speed is why we're running Scale Shot over a different move. But we are Spread Crip for Adamant Blaziken, which I felt would be a decent possibility if he wanted to get greedy, but otherwise we wasn't going to get any more. We wasn't going to outrun anything important by bulking up our speed to max. So just 220 plus to be able to outrun that. And since we have the Mega Garchomp, obviously, with Sandforce, we're going to want to run Tyranitar. We went with Special Tyranitar this week just because it was able to hit Blaziken slightly better than if I wanted to go Rock Slide on it. But also Frame Flower for Melmetal was the main reason here. Being able to let Tyranitar do about 50% to it. It's Iron Ball in case we can't deny Trick Room, obviously. It'll be able to underspeed, or, you know, in Trick Room outspeed different things. Pretty much his whole team, I believed it was. Just looking at it, it should be his whole team. But Tyranitar was really good to the matchup, being able to hit most of his team with the combination of Dark Pulse, Flamethrower, and Hydro Pump. And then after that, we went with a interesting Scizor set here with Focus Sash. Bullet Punch and U-Turn just for stab moves and being able to pivot and actually hit things. But we went with Tailwind because we needed to be able to match the Murkrow's Tailwind if he did bring it. And with that, we have the possibility of a somewhat bulky setter of Tailwind, and with Focus Sash it should be able to live anything unless they double it up, which I don't expect them to double Scizor if it's on the field. But it gives us a way of matching their Tailwind, which I felt was very crucial in the matchup. And then we have Zeraora with a more supportive set with Fake Out, Plasma Fist, Coaching, and Protect. It has just enough speed to outrun a max speed Purugly. It didn't really need any more speed on it this week. I could have went and, you know, sped crap for Scarfs, but I didn't expect anything to be Scarfed on his team because I was looking at it and I pretty much assumed it was going to be a hard Trick Room matchup this week, or he would bring Murkrow and be just Tailwind. So I didn't feel like, you know, going up above anything that would be Scarfed would be necessary. And with that, since we cut so much speed, we was able to actually give it max HP just to be a tad bit bulky and annoying. And then 228 attack just to be able to, you know, do some damage on our Plasma Fist. I forget if that was exact for anything, but I don't believe it is. The 12 defense is to live certain attacks with our Shuka Berry at certain percentages. I don't remember the percentages off the top of my head, but it was specifically for Melmetal at, I think, maybe like around 50% or something. We would be able to live an Earthquake, but it's not the most important thing for the set. And then the last mon, I really had no clue what to bring because those 5 were very solid into the matchup, and the 6th spot, I was just looking for some kind of utility-ish thing to bring. And when in doubt, just bring out Creamy, I guess, you know? We are sped to outspeed Purugly at max speed, and then, you know, obviously for our fast decorates into things like Garchomp or Scizor or even Zeraora if it comes out to be good into the matchup, and then just max HP to be able to live around as much as possible. Mystic Fire just as a way of hitting Melmetal, since Melmetal is the biggest threat on paper to me, and it's not like Alchemy's gonna be able to hit anything else anyways for big damage, so Mystical File just gives us a way of hitting Melmetal, and also, you know, it could drop special attacks of things like Basculegion. Decorate, obviously. We have the Sweet Scent just in case of, you know, we don't really start to trust our Rock Slides. It's just a way to be able to hit them more accurately if need be, if we notice that we need to hit them crucially, and then Encore just to really trap them into certain moves if need be. You know, rocking the Blaziken into a Thunder Punch would be incredible, things like that. But with that, we'll slide on over into the battles here now. Jumping into game 1 here of our post-commentary, as I stated before, since, you know, my audio decided to go and kick the bucket on us, but we'll go on and start the game here. We see that he leads a Basilision and Gramble lead, and I just go for our Jellicent and Zero Aura. This lead was just, you know, predicting a Trick Room option if they wanted to go for it. We switch out Jellicent, just predicting a Shadow Ball, and just going for the Plasma Fist onto it for the big damage. The Shadow Ball comes out into Tyranitar, so we called that right, and they just go for the Play Rough into Zero Aura, doing about half. The Gramble is left over, so it's just, I'm assuming, a bulky supportive role, mainly for the Intimidate onto Zero Aura and other things. We call the Protect and just go for the Plasma Fist onto the Gramble and call the Play Rough and just protect the Tyranitar. Just a safe play for me on that end. They go for the double Protect and don't get it. And we just go for the Coaching on Tyranitar, just to give it the defense boost in case the Gramble does attack it this turn again. And we pick up the KO of the Dark Pulse on our special Tyranitar. The Sandstorm chips just want to, you know, chip away the Gramble, and we get the big boy in Garchomp. And they throw out Credility. Not gonna lie, the Credility I didn't expect to come, so it really caught me off guard in this game, and I quickly found out I don't have the greatest of ways to hit this thing. As you see, a Rock Slide Dark Pulse doesn't even take it below half. So this game's really going to come down to finding a good way of hitting that mon in particular. We live the Play Rough because of the bulk that we have on Garchomp, and they pull out the Giga Drain out of nowhere. And then we just get, you know, a good Dark Pulse onto it. Sandstorm ends, so we're going to have to pull T-Tar back to get that Sand Force back on the Garchomp. Just going for the safe play of, you know, protecting it and being able to get our Sand back. The Protect blocking the Giga Drain for us, which was quite nice. And now that we have the Sand back, we should be able to get a double KO this turn with the Rock Slide, as we do, which is now going to make it a 3v1. And he pulls out the Blaziken. And this is when we go for our great tech of Scale Shotting our own Tyranitar to match it in speed in case it is adamant. Little did I know, Garchomp would decide to hit Tyranitar 5 times and crit it twice. Wasn't that just lovely? Almost costing us the game here in a big way. Because if it gets the flinch here on Tyranitar, it is probably game over. Luckily it doesn't crit and we get the Hydro Pump off, which takes it down to 6, and then with Sand we'll chip it down. And we'll slide over into game 2. Put it over on dark mode. I don't know why it's on light mode. That's a mistake. And there's music. That's lovely. Isn't this just scuffed as can be? They lead the Credility and Oranguru. I'm pretty sure Ted realized at this point I don't have the best way to hit this Credility. We just go for a Plasma Fist onto Oranguru, just wanting to get some damage on it. We imprison in case he goes for the Trick Room, but he pulls out the Reflect. This was a good tech on his part, knowing my team was mostly physical attackers. We go for a Plasma Fist onto the Credility in case he wanted to switch it out into a Basilision, and we miss the Will-O-Wisp onto the Monkey. The Will-O-Wisp onto the Monkey was just in case he switched it out for a Melmetal or something, because with this lead I didn't have a great matchup into these if he didn't go for Trick Room, so that was highly unfortunate. Oranguru just goes for the Future Sight and the Credility gets the KO on Jellicent. This as you see, this lead in particular of his didn't match well into me. I didn't prepare for it all that well. It really comes down to the fact I didn't expect Credilli to be here, or, you know, as big as a threat as it was. The Dark Pulse, just for damage on it, Zero Aura eats the Future Sight, luckily, with our bulk, just keeping it in the game a bit longer. We switch it out into Garchomp. We knew that Blaziken would probably protect, and this way we can save the Zero Aura for a potential sack if we need to reset Sand at any point. But because of that, you know, we have our boys in full health. The Future Sight hits Tyranitar, and obviously Dark type does nothing. Here we Mega protect Tyranitar, just trying to keep it alive because we know we need it for Sand. He goes for a Rock Slide here and gets a very lucky flinch because I went for Earthquake on this play and Earthquake drops Blaziken, so it would be a much different game depending on what he has in the back. He protects here on this Earthquake, unfortunately for us, as we KO our own Zero Aura and do a good chunk to the Credilli, which was nice, but we're in a very bad situation in this game, as you can tell, for our Garchomp almost being dead and us not being able to KO this stupid Credilli, and Blaziken being able to basically take a KO whenever it wants at this point. We luckily catch the Flare Blitz on a Protect, but it's not as if it matters at all, as we can't remove the Credilli, so even if we can remove Blaziken here, it's not gonna matter. The burn here is also somewhat unfortunate, not that it really mattered, but you know, it was just adding to our string of bad luck for game 2 here, which was highly unfortunate. And it just comes down to this 3v1 with Tyranitar, and Tyranitar's not gonna be able to KO anything here, as Flare Blitz and Giga Drain will just chip it down for the game to go to Ted on game number 2. We'll slide on over into game 3, fix it to dark mode, and turn the music off this time. Why don't I went hyper aggressive on lead this time because I knew I needed to be able to kill the Credilli, and I figured my best way of doing that would be Alcremie decorating Garchomp. We knew that we outsped Basculegion here, so we just went for it, and luckily he protects and doesn't scold us right away, which could have been bad. Garchomp goes for the big Earthquake, we crit Alcremie, which didn't matter, and the Oranguru lives. This had to have been either calced or the luckiest live of this monkey's career. We just pick it up with the Rock Slide, luckily, and Garchomp's now in. He goes for Surf and we live easy, and Dark Pulse picks it off, which puts us in a very commanding spot, as we are now a +2 Garchomp with Sand, so we're getting that Sand Force boost, and we have Amon in the back. I believe it was Jellicent for this game, because Jellicent was just really good into the matchup overall. The Earthquake does 79 to the Credilli, a much better way of hitting it now. And we'll know that a Rock Slide plus Dark Pulse will be able to pick it up, or even Rock Slide on its own should be able to pick it up now that we're +2. And he goes for the Rock Slide. He's kind of forced into this play, and the Rock Slide will pick up the Credilli and do massive damage to the Blaziken for us. And then from here, it's just Blaziken versus the world on 3 HP, and he goes for the Flare Blitz into the Garchomp, which will then die from the recoil. So our boy Garchomp popped off for us in week 1, and it was a fun battle overall, one of the better battles I've had in a while. Some RNG in both ways. The flinch in game 2 really hurt, but it is what it is. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you all in week number 2 of the British Pokemon League. See ya!